It was a rainy Tuesday evening in the heart of Seattle, the kind where the sky seems to weep endlessly, mirroring the chaos in my own heart. I stared at my best friend, Emily, across the cluttered table of our favorite coffee shop, the steam from our lattes curling up like unspoken secrets. We'd been inseparable since college, sharing everything from late-night study sessions to heartbreak recoveries. But that night, as a joke slipped from my lips. "Hey Em, wanna marry me and make this friendship official?" Her eyes locked onto mine with an intensity I'd never seen. Time froze. And then she whispered, "I thought you'd never ask." My heart plummeted. Was this real? Or had I just ruined the one constant in my life? The words hung in the air like a storm cloud about to burst. I laughed nervously, expecting her to join in, to brush it off as another one of our silly banter moments. But Emily didn't laugh. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing mine, and for the first time in our 10-year friendship, I felt a spark that wasn't just platonic. "Alex," she said softly, her voice trembling, "I've been waiting for you to say something like that for years." My mind raced. Years? How had I been so blind? The rain pounded harder against the window, as if urging me to respond, but all I could do was stare, my world tilting on its axis. What if this was the moment everything changed? Or everything fell apart? Let me take you back to where it all began, because to understand that rainy evening, you need to know the roots of our story. Emily and I met in freshman year at the University of Washington. I was the awkward engineering major from a small town in Oregon, buried in textbooks and dreams of building bridges, literal ones, not the metaphorical kind that connect hearts. Emily was the vibrant art student, with paint-streaked hands and a laugh that could light up the gloomiest Pacific Northwest day. Our paths crossed in a mandatory philosophy class, where we were paired for a project on existentialism. "Life is absurd," she'd quip, mimicking our professor, and I'd roll my eyes, but secretly, her energy pulled me out of my shell. We bonded over shared all-nighters, debating whether free will existed while devouring pizza at 3 a.m. By sophomore year, we were roommates in a cramped off-campus apartment, navigating the mess of young adulthood together. Those early days were filled with innocent adventures. We'd hike the trails around Mount Rainier on weekends, her sketching the landscapes while I calculated the physics of the waterfalls. Emily had this way of seeing beauty in the ordinary, a fallen leaf, a cracked sidewalk, that made me appreciate the world differently. But beneath her sunny exterior, she carried scars from a tough childhood. Her parents' divorce when she was 12 had left her wary of commitment, always joking that love was just a pretty illusion. I'd listen as she poured out her fears during our late-night talks, vowing silently to be the friend who never let her down. Me? I was dealing with my own baggage. My older brother had died in a car accident when I was 16, leaving me with a fear of getting too close to anyone, afraid they'd vanish too. Emily became my safe harbor, the one person who understood without needing explanations. As the years rolled on, our friendship deepened into something unbreakable. After graduation, I landed a job at a tech firm in Seattle, designing sustainable infrastructure, while Emily opened a small gallery downtown, showcasing local artists. We saw each other through bad dates and career setbacks. I was there when her first serious boyfriend cheated on her, holding her as she cried and promising that real love would find her someday. She was my rock when I lost my job during the pandemic, helping me rebuild my resume and even letting me crash on her couch for months. We'd joke about growing old together as platonic life partners, watching rom-coms and mocking the clichés. But looking back, there were signs. Lingering hugs, jealous glances at each other's dates, that I ignored, chalking it up to overprotectiveness. Fast forward to that fateful Tuesday. The joke about marriage wasn't entirely random. We'd just come from a mutual friend's wedding, where the speeches about finding your person had stirred something in me. Emily looked stunning in her bridesmaid dress, and as we danced under the string lights, I felt a pull I couldn't name. So, in the coffee shop, fueled by caffeine and unresolved emotions, I blurted it out. Her response shattered my defenses. "I've loved you since that first philosophy project," she confessed, her eyes welling up. "But I was scared you'd never see me that way." I was stunned, my heart pounding like a drum. We talked for hours that night, unraveling years of unspoken feelings. But as we left the shop, hand in hand for the first time, a text buzzed on my phone. From my ex, Sarah, who I'd dated briefly last year. "Hey, Alex. Miss you. Can we talk?" My grip on Emily's hand tightened. What if my past came crashing back just as my future was beginning? The next few weeks were a whirlwind of discovery and doubt. Emily and I dove headfirst into this new chapter, turning our friendship into a romance that felt both familiar and exhilarating. Our first real date was at the same hiking trail we'd visited in college, but this time, we held hands and shared kisses under the canopy of evergreens. She opened up more about her fears, how her parents' messy split had made her question if love could last. "I don't want to lose you if this doesn't work," she'd whisper during quiet moments. I shared my grief over my brother, admitting how it had made me build walls. Together, we started tearing them down, one vulnerable conversation at a time. But challenges loomed. My job demanded long hours, leaving Emily feeling neglected, echoing her childhood abandonment issues. We'd argue, small things at first, like forgotten anniversaries, but they'd escalate, dredging up old wounds. One evening, after a particularly heated fight about my workaholic tendencies, Emily stormed out, slamming the door. I sat alone in our now shared apartment, staring at photos of us from happier times. Had I pushed her away? The silence stretched on, and as hours turned into a sleepless night, I wondered if our joke had been a mistake. What if we couldn't bridge the gap from friends to lovers without breaking everything? Morning brought relief, and another layer of complexity. Emily returned with coffee and apologies, and we promised to communicate better. We sought couples therapy, a step that felt awkward but necessary. Our therapist, Dr. Lena, helped us unpack our baggage. My fear of loss making me cling too tightly, her distrust leading to emotional withdrawal. Sessions were raw, filled with tears and breakthroughs. Slowly, we rebuilt trust, incorporating date nights and shared hobbies like cooking classes, where we'd laugh over burnt dinners. But just as things stabilized, life threw a curveball. Emily's gallery faced financial ruin due to a rent hike, threatening her dream. She poured her soul into saving it, working tirelessly, which strained us again. I offered to help financially, but she refused, insisting on independence, a trait I admired but one that created distance. During this crisis, my ex, Sarah, reappeared. She called, claiming she needed closure, but her words hinted at more. "We had something real, Alex. Don't throw it away for a rebound." I confided in Emily, expecting support, but it triggered her insecurities. "Do you still have feelings for her?" she asked, voice breaking. I assured her no, but the seed of doubt was planted. We hit a low point when Emily suggested a break, to figure out if this is what we really want. My world crumbled. Alone in the apartment that night, I replayed our history, from college laughs to that rainy proposal. Was this the end? Or could we fight through? The break lasted 2 agonizing weeks. I threw myself into work, but every corner of the city reminded me of her, the coffee shop, the trails, even the rain. Friends urged me to move on, but I couldn't. Emily, meanwhile, focused on her gallery, securing a grant through sheer determination. In therapy alone, I realized my role in our issues. I'd been so afraid of losing her that I hadn't given her space to grow. One rainy afternoon, echoing our pivotal night, I showed up at her gallery with a sketchbook I'd bought her years ago, filled now with my own clumsy drawings of our memories. I said, heart in throat, I don't want a break. I want us, flaws and all. She looked at me, tears streaming, and pulled me into an embrace. "I thought you'd never fight for this," she murmured, echoing her words from that first night. From there, resolutions came like healing rain. We recommitted, setting boundaries, weekly check-ins, shared goals. Emily's gallery thrived with my help on the business side, not as a savior, but as a partner. We navigated family introductions, my parents adored her, while hers, though skeptical, warmed up seeing our bond. Challenges persisted, like a health scare when Emily twisted her ankle on a hike, forcing us to confront vulnerability again. But each hurdle strengthened us, teaching that love isn't perfect, it's persistent. Months turned into a year, and on the anniversary of that joke, I proposed for real, down on one knee at our coffee shop, ring in hand. "Emily, will you marry me, seriously this time?" Her laugh mingled with tears. "I thought you'd never ask, again." Our wedding was intimate, surrounded by friends who'd watched our story unfold. Vows spoke of friendship as the foundation of love, of turning jokes into promises. Looking back, that rainy Tuesday wasn't just a turning point, it was a reminder that the best love stories often hide in plain sight, waiting for a spark of courage. We faced fears, doubts, and external storms, but emerged stronger, proving that true connection can weather anything. If there's one message from our journey, it's this: don't wait for the perfect moment to express your heart, life's too short, and love's too precious. Take the risk, it might just lead to forever. If this story touched you, hit that like button and subscribe for more heartwarming tales that remind us of love's unexpected paths. Thanks for watching.